Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Piofiore on Dante's route. We have now been kidnapped by the Visconti, and Nicola is missing. But I think, basically, he and Dante and I had been drugged, and I think probably Nicola woke up for Dante and then felt stupid that he was tricked with drugged wine and probably started to take actions on his own to try to make up for things. So Dante thinks that Nicola's been kidnapped as well. But we'll find out sooner or later. For now, you can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Going over to that meanwhile story. Reaction. From Gilbert's point of view.
Yes, understood. I'll work with you. I figured this would happen, but looks like our cover's blown.
Wow, that was a lot faster than I expected. I didn't leave anything behind that would give us away. How did they find out?
I have my hunches. Anyway, it was going to happen sooner or later.
So, did they contact you? This is the man that I imagined was the one that picked me up.
Well...
They're all so short now. I feel like, why even go there? I pored over my room to see if there was a way to escape. I could see that I was on the second floor just by looking out the window. Maybe I could tie the bed sheets together and climb down. You already tried that! I mean, I know that was a different room and different sheets, but still. Learn from your mistakes. Dante's not down there to catch you this time. I recalled what happened when I did the same thing back at the Falzone Manor. No, I need to stay calm. If I tried to escape from the Visconti, there was no telling what might happen to Dante and the others. My heart wrenched as I looked out the window and over to another Meemaw story where they're really gathering these now. Irritation. Who is irritated? Dante? As I hung up the phone, I realized what Orlok told me. Ugh. I couldn't hold back my frustration. I didn't want to believe it, but... I breathed in slowly to try and calm myself. I needed to focus on what I had been tasked to do as boss of the Falzone family. And for that, I would do anything, even if it hurt me. Oh, don't risk yourself, Dante. My heart wrenched as I looked out the window. Dante caught me when I fell. I want to see Dante. Oh. Come in. Why knock? I'm a prisoner. What is it?
We're going to take a stroll outside.
What? Where is he planning on taking me? Really? Into the city? He's gonna flaunt me? Gil reassured me, sensing that I was suspicious of his motives.
Come now, I'm not gonna bite. Dante's already found out that I've got you here. He's offered us a deal, so I've gone ahead and sent in your RSVP.
What? A deal? With that, I left the Visconti Manor with Gil, heading into a situation I couldn't fathom. What in the world could they possibly trade me for? I had seen the casino from the outside, but I hadn't come in like this before. This doesn't feel right. I'm no gambler. Oh, a beautiful long-haired man with a mask and a beautifully detailed outfit. I like.
Welcome, Senior Redford. Please, this way. Good.
The man with the mask let us in.
Our guest here is ready, but, if I may, he doesn't seem very happy. That's none of your concern. Of course.
Excuse my manners. He bowed politely, then left the area. Who was that?
The Narration, manager of the casino. He provides meeting spaces when needed.
Like convention areas?
Follow me. I can't get anything done without you.
As a bargaining chip? Suddenly, the Visconti's lawyer, who had accompanied us, stopped.
Gilbert, I'll wait here as planned. If you're going to accept the deal, call me in. I have all the documents you need.
I'm counting on you, Oliver.
Oliver Haas.
The
man called Oliver gave a weary sigh. Seems like it's probably something he does a lot around Gilbert. Gil led me inside.
3 chairs?
Sitting in the room was Dante with a frown on his face. Dante! I noticed Dante's expression soften a bit after he saw that I was safe. His sigh of relief was noticed only by me. Oh, I feel like I should, run over and hug him. I tried to move toward him. There, at least I tried. But Gil held me back with the arm.
We have business to do. You just stay for a minute.
Gil forced me to sit next to him.
I'm surprised you invited me here. I thought you hated the casino.
If it were up to me, I wouldn't step foot in here. Gambling is not the kind of business that a man of honor conducts.
Come now, it's not like you're running it. Just enjoy yourself and have fun.
I wouldn't understand.
Fine. Now then, on to the deal.
Glad we're getting straight to the point. I'm not in the mood for wasting time. Gilbert, before we go into the deal, I need to confirm something.
About Nicola.
Nicola?
Nicola was the one who took you to the Visconti that night.
What? Oh. Well, I guess he came to that conclusion later, because he definitely said before that he thought somebody took me and Nicola.
To be specific, he's the one who helped lead my men inside.
Why would Nicola do such a thing?
Nicola initially contacted the Visconti for an alliance against the Laoshu. It was then that he sided with you, correct?
Correct. He pretty much told me everything that was going on with the Falzone.
Nicola.
Oh, Nicola. I knew you were being suspicious. I could see pain in Dante's face. Your own cousin.
It seems he has been planning on betraying the Falzone for some time. Her arrival was likely a catalyst for him to take action.
Yeah, the Key Maiden was a great gift for us. The Laoshu, the church, you folks. She's pretty much the prize all you are gunning for, isn't she? And that makes her the best trade item there is. You think I wouldn't want to keep her? Regardless of whether or not the legend is true, she's our ace in hand now. And let's not forget how cute the Signorina is. That's just a bonus.
And my good personality, too. Don't forget about that. Gil's casual speech was making Dante very irate, and he wasn't hiding it.
So, what is the Falzone planning on offering for her?
The Falzone has a mission to uphold.
A mission, eh?
It's like forces are aligning against the Falzone. Everybody's betraying them at once.
Our position in the Mafia was simply a form we took for the sake of that mission. Once it's completed and things are settled, I will offer you all the rights of the Falzone family.
Huh? Does that mean, one way or another, however it goes down with the relic, everything goes to the Visconti?
In exchange, I ask that you hand her over to us, and not to interfere with our mission.
But that means the Falzone family... What Dante just said meant the end of the Falzone family. Well, the end of their Mafia dealings, that is.
Gil
looked straight at Dante.
I
After a moment of silence, Gil began to speak in a mocking way. That's not necessary.
This mission of yours must be something. I didn't expect you to put your family on the line. Me? I have no mission. All I care about is what's in front of me and securing the Visconti's future.
If so, then gaining the rights of the Falzone family must be worth something to you.
Sure, but then again, if the Falzone family is what it is now, then that would mean I'd need to face the Lao Shu and the church. The risk doesn't justify the reward. To be honest, this whole setup isn't my way of doing things.
True, Gil did treat me as his guest during the time I stayed with him. If all he wanted was to secure me, he could have taken other drastic means to do so. I suppose what he displayed back then wasn't something he wanted to do.
I don't like wasting time, you know. I see no merit in taking action right now. That includes picking a fight with the Falzone.
So you're waiting for us, the Lao Shu and the church, to wear ourselves out.
That's what I've been saying from the beginning. Wait for the victor to emerge and then pounce on their depleted forces.
Right. If you go down with them, hallelujah. But any of you going down is good for me. It makes life easier when I only need to face one of you.
I was a bit taken aback, but decided to ask Gil. So you mean the Visconti won't go against the Falzone family?
Yeah, it wasn't my finest moment, using a girl as bait in the first place. It makes me feel like the bad guy, you know? Especially being so rough with a smart one like you.
Gil was talking about when I asked him those questions when he abducted me. I don't think those were particularly smart questions. Gil turned his attention back to Dante.
I don't like how the Lao Shu are abusing citizens here. By contrast, you came straight to me to make a deal fair and square. To use your words as a man of honor, I have to respect what you're trying to do.
That's right. Handle it like men.
Oh, and my guy broke the rules this time around.
Gil was probably referring to Nicola. Dante frowned again, but didn't say a word. I wouldn't say Nicola's his guy.
So, I'll let her go for free. I don't need those rights of yours.
What?
Instead, I have some conditions.
Conditions.
Gil wanted to speak with Dante in private, so I was sent out of the room for the time being. They just listen at the door.
Stop glaring at me like that.
I'll glare at you however I want. You are a lawyer, after all. You should be used to it. Do you mind? I'm trying to listen at this door.
I'm here to make sure you don't run away. If you don't do anything, I won't either. Frankly, I'm not the violent type. Unlike Gilbert and them.
That didn't make me feel any better. I continued to wait for Dante and Gil's meeting to end, with Oliver keeping watch. Sounds boring? Huh?
We're done. She's coming with me.
Have her. Gilbert told me to let go of her too.
Oliver complied to Dante's demand, and I made my way back to the room. I hurried to Dante, who was also walking towards me. Hug! Just run up to him and glomp. Dante, thank you for... Huh? Dante embraced me before I could finish. Ah, surprise! Absence does make the heart grow fonder. He missed me. Oh, we didn't get... I was so sure we were getting a picture because it blanked there. Ah! He quietly mumbled to me as I tried to figure out what was going on.
I'm sorry.
No need to be sorry. To think that he was acting like a mafia boss with Gil just a moment ago. Still surprised at what was happening, I responded, Everything's okay. Nothing happened. Besides, you did come for me, right? He embraced me even more strongly. I gently asked, were you all right, Dante? Were you all right, Dante?
Yes.
Thank goodness. I'm worried sick, wondering whether you were safe. I even thought that he might have been killed, even though Gil said he didn't kill him.
I'm sorry, Lily.
Why are you apologizing?
It's all my fault. I was the one who put you in harm's way.
On purpose, you were trying your best to have me at your safe house. Dante felt his remorse, and then grasped his arms tightly with my hands. Please, don't blame yourself for any of this. My anxiety, my worries, all seemed to melt away in the presence of his warmth. But then I decided to ask him something that had been bothering me. About Nicola. Dante frowned the moment he heard his name. He interrupted my question.
I'll explain later. First, let's head to the manor.
Well, I did hear what they said, right? That Nicola switched sides, or at least said he switched sides. Okay. Unless he's doing a triple crossing. I nodded briefly in agreement. With Dante's car ready, I was about to get in when...
Finished already? Well, that was quick.
Is this going to be friendly or not? I don't think he was expecting this. Nicola's sudden appearance caught me and Dante off guard.
Gilbert is such a softy, giving away my special gift to him just because someone else asked.
Dante had his guard up and was looking at Nicola silently. And yet he's not scowling.
I heard you set up a deal with the Visconti. It sounds like a waste of time. I can't even fathom why you would strike a deal, even for the Falzone's mission. If you really want to fulfill the mission, then you should get rid of her.
I don't think you really understand the mission then.
Sure, she has value, but she can be replaced.
Oh, I'm so disappointed in Nicola. Replace this? Really? I mean, you can replace the key maiden, but you can't replace Lily.
Think about it. Gilbert could have just killed you, ending the Falzone bloodline in one fell swoop.
Yeah, but Dante's reasonable to deal with. So it kind of benefits him to have him around to whittle away other opposition.
That would have dealt the final blow. You really shouldn't act on emotion like that.
How dare you? Being rather short-sighted.
I'd stop right there if I were you. This is none of your concern.
It's been my concern for a while now, since I've been in custody. It does concern my life, after all.
I needed to save her in order to fulfill our mission.
Dante spoke to Nicola in a stern tone, stepping in front of me. Nicola didn't look pleased, and frowned back at Dante and me.
I heard from Orlok what happened that night. You killed the watchguard, and...
I took her on a ride to Creta. Did he tell you that too?
Nobody told me that either.
I couldn't believe what he told me.
Dante sounded quite agitated, but Nicola didn't seem fazed at all.
I didn't expect Orlok to sell me out. How long have you two been working together?
We simply made a deal. He mentioned that it would be better for him to have her in the Falzone family's custody. He has underestimated us.
I can't blame him. After all, the Falzone took a beating from the last encounter with the Lao Shu.
So did the Lao Shu.
Taking her away from you would be much easier than if she were with the Visconti. In any case, what a letdown. I thought he would have struck a better deal.
You don't know the whole deal. I don't know the whole deal. Nicola's demeanor hadn't changed at all since he appeared in front of us. The only time he frowned was when Dante stood in front of me.
Nicola, why did you betray me?
Why do you think?
Dante wasn't responding. Jealousy? Nicola betrayed Dante? A little slow, are we? I mean, I, Dirili, am slow in real life. I mean, it's funny because I dated this one guy and we would be talking And then I'd be like, huh, what? And there'd be a pause, and I'd be like, oh, what are you doing? Why aren't you saying anything? And he's like, I'm waiting for the oh moment. I'm like, what do you mean? And I just sit there for a minute and think, and then I'd be like, oh, okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a little slow. But yeah, these heroines in these games are always slow. I don't know why it bugs me to be slower in the games when I am slow in real life. Anyway, sorry. I still couldn't believe what was happening. I kept to myself, letting them work through their conversation, but...
Well, time's up. I'll see you again.
Seeing that he wasn't going to get his answer, Nicola slowly walked away. It's been a while since I've been here. Leo and Julia greeted us with open arms upon our return.
Oh, thank God you're safe. Welcome home.
Yes, I'm glad to be back.
Once everything is ready, we'll leave. Rest up until then.
With that, he left the salon, likely going to his office. Oh, we can't go back to the hideout since it's been found out. Don't tell me we left Carlo. I'm sure Leo brought Carlo with us. They wouldn't leave him there alone.
You look so cold. Here you go, Lily.
Thank you, Julia. I finally felt like I was safe after taking a sip of Julia's hot latte. Carlo, you're here too! Of course he's here. You don't think those guys would have forgotten him. Dante wouldn't have forgotten him. Carlo sprinted toward me and began to rub his head and neck against my legs. I stroked Carlo's back and felt the tension inside me dissipate. Nothing for relaxing like caring for your pets.
That must have been something. Are you really all right?
As I stand here before you, I'm fine. It's Dante I'm worried about. Nicola.
I can't believe Nicola will betray us, especially after all he did for the boss.
I know, and after growing up together as cousins, it has to be a jealousy thing, right?
Yes, they were like brothers ever since they were children. What could have happened?
I could see the sorrow on their faces and tried my best to cheer them up. He must have had a very good reason. I'm sure he has some kind of plan. Even if he did have a reason, the fact that he betrayed the family couldn't be denied.
You're right. I'm sure he must have had a good reason that we're not aware of.
I'm so sorry for letting out my worries like this, but thank you. Of course. People should be able to vent, like we used to be able to back in the 90s and early 2000s.
I have a place ready. Let's go, Lily.
Already? Huh?
Yes. From what Orlok has said, it's unlikely that I'll make a move anytime soon. At the very least, he didn't seem to be under immediate orders from the church to detain you. But considering that the lost shoe is at large, it's too much of a risk to stay here.
So a new safe house?
Which is why I need you to come with me.
Understood.
Oh, I'll get everything from the hideout and deliver them to you as soon as I can.
It's quite sad to know my dear little ones won't be here, but I suppose it can't be helped. Please be careful, and here's some ciabatta for you to take. I baked it for tonight's dinner. Thank you, Leo, Julia. They both saw us off as we departed the manor in the middle of the night. And away again. The place Dante prepared was a hotel located in False. The room wasn't fancy, but it was clean and better than most around the area. And a meanwhile story again, which we shall go to right now. As planned. Risk as planned. Be Gilbert. Oh no, it's Nicola at Gilbert's place.
Well, that's quite a sigh, Nicola. Come now, am I not allowed to sigh? Do the Visconti rules prohibit it? For the record, I don't trust you yet. After all, you are a traitor. That said, I know you're very talented. which is why I'm keeping an eye on you. Gilbert's mantra is to accept all who come. Even so, having a former underboss of another organization in the fold is incredibly risky.
Tell me about it.
Well, don't worry, Oliver. Once I'm done, I'll leave right away.
What? That sounds suspicious. You're not planning on staying here?
What do you mean by that, Nicola?
You should be on guard right now after hearing him say that.
Don't tell me you're planning on betraying the Visconti, too. I'll leave that to your imagination.
Go tell Gil, and kick him out right now.
That attitude isn't helping, you know. I'll have you dead the moment I find anything suspicious from you, regardless of what Gilbert says.
I like Oliver. Why haven't he an option too? Oh, why give me all these guys? Why show me the things that I cannot have?
Oliver glared at me, then exited the lounge. Well, that was tiring. Things don't ever go as planned, do they?
What is his end game here, and who is he really aligned with? What, another Meemaw story? Back to back? What? As planned? Again? Somebody else as planned? Back with the Yang.
Everything is going as planned. The preparations are moving along. The Falzone hit us hard, but things are proceeding just fine.
I see. I'm getting bored with Bologna. I can't wait to get some Chinese food. The time is ripe.
Say, Yang, I have a favor to ask you.
What?
Can I kill the guy who killed Faye?
Sure, but don't go too wild.
With our move to the hotel finished, Dante crashed on a chair. Now I can't remember who killed Fang. Was it Nicola or was it Dante? Or was it one of our underlings? And even if it was one of the underlings, I'm sure she'd hold Dante responsible. But really, neither of them was there to see it, so how would they know who it was? He must be really tired. He was so tired that he couldn't even maintain the straight posture he usually did. Go give him a nice little foot massage. Or at least a shoulder massage. I can only imagine how much stress he's carrying, especially with regards to Nicola. I dared not touch on that subject now. I tried my best to act normal, but it wasn't going very well. We were awkward enough before all this stuff happened. Dante? Are you hungry? The ciabatta Julia gave us is still warm.
No, I'm fine.
How can that bread still be warm? He calmly refused my offer, and instead spoke to me in a comforting tone.
It's been a long day. You should rest already.
I wasn't sure whether to start another conversation, so in the end, I went to sleep. I decided to go to bed without saying another word. This place is super plain and extremely sparsely furnished. The most boring room I've seen so far. And so, our life at the hotel began. This looks very unpromising to have this parchment thing. Are we just going to get this long, extremely boring story typed out here on a page? Dante looked very tired the first night, but he still maintained a front, no different from his usual. Oh, haven't you guys learned? I mean, our time at the hideout, we wasted it all. And now we're here alone together again, and we're wasting it again! Come on, didn't it say enough that he, grabbed us and hugged us when he saw us again, and hugged me even tighter when I said something? Why? Still, I could tell he wasn't feeling very good, which made me worry. It was no surprise since he was betrayed by the person he trusted most. Well, I'm glad the parchment writing didn't last long. That usually bodes not so well for the story for a while. And we have another meanwhile. Deliberate. Or deliberate. How was it? Ah, somebody's stuck in someplace dingy. Is this where poor Orlok lives? I read the letter from His Excellency very carefully. The order contained within was as expected. Monitor the situation. As you wish, Your Excellency. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and stop there. Reunited and it feels so good. That was really short. I'm really surprised that our captivity with Gil was such a short one. I expected there to have to be a daring rescue and everything, but nope. All I had to do was ask. And Gil acquiesced readily, which was nice though. So I hope to see you in the next video to see what happens next. Maybe some of my other ones. I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye, everybody.